Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we're live from the HCC TV studios this morning, this Friday morning. It's hashtag Finally Friday, Film Friday as well. And guess what? It's the 1st of September. If you've been outside, you probably are saying, well, what's changed? You know, we're still blazing hot out there. Well, we made it to September. That's what's changed. And we got a 3-day weekend ahead of us. One person who I know will be celebrating that 3-day weekend, my co-host, Randy Ramsey. Good to see you.
Good morning. I'm super excited. I've already got my beach clothes on. I'm out of here as soon as the school day is over.
You're out of here. All right.
I'm out of here.
All right. Heading out. That's good. Well, you know, it's an exciting day at HCC this morning because our new interim chancellor, Dr. Margaret Ford Fisher, officially took her office today. Went up there when she arrived, and we got some video of her. You'll see that in social media, but it's a new day here at HCC.
Well, welcome to our new chancellor. Of course, you got to meet her first, Todd. I'm not very special, so I never get to meet anyone important.
Well, she's been around for a while. You know, she's, I think, worked for HCC for close to 40 years. She was at the Northeast College for a while and then the online college president. So seen her a few times at board meetings, and for a very nice lady, very excited about this. But hey, we're excited about the fact that we're on. Well, Randy may not be excited about this, but we're on just about every morning, 10 a.m., Mondays through Fridays. And you can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. They can also catch us, Randy, in social media and on our cable channel.
That's right, on HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday. And I am an ardent and avid watcher.
Definitely. All right. Well, stick around. You're going to be interviewing your guest in just a moment, but I want to introduce our second guest. One of our students, Ebony Martin's joined us, and she's got a very special story. Her graduation was delayed because she had kidney disease and had to have a transplant of her kidney. Ebony, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We're looking forward to hearing your story. I know it's a special one, but we'll be with you in about 10 minutes. Stand by.
All right.
Okay, Randy, I think you know this next guest. Y'all have a little bit of a history.
A little bit. So this morning we're welcoming HCC Filmmaking Program Coordinator, Independent Filmmaker, Ion Outreach, generally all around super cool chick, Jenny Waldo, back to the show. Welcome back, Jenny.
Thanks for having me.
I was just saying before we got on the air that it feels like I've done nothing but see you for the last week, because last weekend we were at the Houston Media Conference, which was sponsored by Swamp. You know, I always have to throw in a little Swamp plug there, and the Houston Cinema Arts Society. And, you know, how do you think it went?
I think it was great. I really enjoyed it, and I've been telling everybody about it. You know, I was honored to be asked to give a little talk on fundraising, but I really enjoyed all the panels and all the guests, and it was just such a great turnout. And you know, oftentimes you see a lot of the same people when you go to these networking things, and I was really happy to see that I probably knew about 10 or 20% of the people that were there. So I met a lot of new people. It was great. So congratulations on putting on a great event.
Thank you. Your little talk was packed to the rafters and super, super useful. So thank you for being a panelist. And of course, next year, I'll call you even earlier, make sure that you're on board. But you've been doing work with the Ion, which by the way, was one of the locations we considered, but they were not available on the weekends, which I thought was odd, but I know that they're ramping up. So
well, it's a beautiful building, and I met one of the kind of head marketing people, Christine Galib, at the Texas Motion Picture Alliance tax incentive town hall that they did back in the spring, and they're mainly working with tech and startups and trying to be an innovation center, but she's really interested, you know, she's an author herself. And so she's really interested in making sure the creative community is kind of part of this lift that they're trying to do. And so I've been just learning a lot, meeting a lot of new people. It's a great place to network. The parking is free. All the events have been free. It's quite stunning. And so I just think it's been an interesting place, because one of the problems that the Houston tech scene has had is very similar to the film scene here, where everybody's kind of siloed in their own place in the broadness of Houston, and the outside world doesn't look at Houston as a tech town, similarly with film. So a lot of the solutions that they're coming up with for how to bring people together and share resources and build a community are, I think, lessons that we can take in the film world. So I've been connecting with people there, and one of these people, Loretta Williams Gurnell, is part of this nonprofit called Supergirl Shine Foundation, which I'm just really impressed with what they're doing. They're training and placing underserved girls and women in STEM fields in businesses around town, and they're just doing some amazing work with these young women. And she is looking to kind of help partner with our filmmaking program.
They want to do a documentary.
Yeah, they want to do a documentary about what they're doing. And then, I've been trying to kind of float this idea with people. All businesses here in Houston need media. They need brand content. They need promotional work. They need internal safety videos and whatnot. And, they outsource all of that generally. And so I'm looking for ways to kind of create more of a pipeline for our students. And Loretta was really excited to try and kind of foster some of that with her business relationship. So it's an early stages partnership, but we're really excited. We've got some meetings coming up that we're inviting students out. So if anybody's interested, they should come talk to me.
Well, I mean, part of creating that pipeline is that our HCC filmmaking program is a workforce development program. So we do need to train our students to get into all kinds of media, not just independent filmmaking, but also corporate. In fact, our video capture team from this weekend's conference was 3 former students. So that's always good news. So how are you working besides just this foundation into getting our students into the workforce?
Yeah, well, I mean, HCCTV has been one of the staples of training our students. A lot of our students intern with HCCTV, which is wonderful, and some of them have, gotten jobs out of it. And really, I am just constantly out there. Since I am a filmmaker myself, I'm constantly at these networking events, and as much as I can, while also having children and a life and all that stuff. But I'm trying to find resources and places where people are doing the work and trying to kind of partner our students with them. And so it's a little bit more catch as catch can. Certainly on my first feature, Acid Test, which, I've talked about on this program before, a couple of years ago, we had students that were actually earning college credit while they worked on my film, and kind of were mentored by the professional department heads that we had. And many of them got jobs out of that, summer class that they did working on my feature. And so it's a very relationship-based business. I think many businesses are, and jobs are, you find jobs by being referred and by having your friends get jobs, and they pull you on as they kind of start working. And so, the notion of kind of a pipeline is something where it still has to be community-based, because that's just the way the industry works. But if we can develop these connections and bridge our program with the businesses in town, as well as the other kind of film production and media production companies in town, that's my goal. I mean, that's a huge thing for me.
Speaking of that, Supergirl Shine is hosting a networking event, right? Sponsored by Deloitte.
Yes, so they're having this massive networking event. It's next week on the 6th, and it's over at the Ion, where they have their offices. And you can find out more on their website, which is supergirlshine.com. And then we are also hosting an event kind of between our program, but I'm also reaching out to other film programs and to kind of broaden our reach, because I think again, we can't just be siloed in this town, we need to kind of partner up. So we're doing something on the 21st to learn more about this internship opportunity for the documentary on the nonprofit, as well as, what other kind of pipeline or brand marketing media opportunities that we can create with their business partners.
And anyone who wants to get involved can look in our post after the show, but also how would they contact you?
Yes, so my email is jennifer.waldo@hccs.edu. So that's the best way to reach me. And I'll send you the information.
Awesome. Lots of exciting stuff coming up in the filmmaking program.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, we have great facilities here, and that's kind of another step, is to try and open up our facilities to the community as well to use. So I'm hoping that we can do that. And again, we do it in an informal way right now, but anything that I can do to help promote our program and let people know that, we've just got a lot of good stuff going on here. So I'm excited.
Well, thanks for being here this morning, Jenny. I super appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Jenny Waldo, HCC Filmmaker, Filmmaking Program Coordinator, Independent Filmmaker, and now ION Outreach Volunteer. Too many hats. We'll have all the info about these programs in our post after the show. Have a great long weekend.
All right, you too. Relax.
Thanks.
All right, thank you both. Now we're going to move on to one of our students. Ebony Martin, HCC student and kidney transplant recipient, joins us. Welcome to the show, Ebony. Now, you're here to talk about your amazing journey as a young woman who went through this but maintained such a positive outlook that inspires us all. Let's start with the diagnosis of your kidney disease. You found out it was hereditary. Tell us what was happening. How did you find out?
Well, actually, I'm only 4'11", and I had gained quite a bit of weight. I was at 150 pounds. And so I had started working out a lot, and I went to see a dietitian. And while seeing the dietitian, he wanted to get some blood work done for, like, health reasons, things like that. And when he went to do that, the records came back that I had kidney failure, which he didn't believe. I didn't believe, and my mother did not believe, because I was young. I was 23 at the time, and so he never seen it before himself. It's a possibility, but it's rare. And so what he did was he told me to go to the ER, which I did. It was Cinco de Mayo weekend. I took time off from work. I told my boss, I have to go to the doctor because of this reason, and she understood. She gave me the next day off. I'm thinking I'm going to have a 3-day weekend for Cinco de Mayo. And it did not turn out that way. I went to the hospital and they said, actually, yes, you do have kidney failure.
Wow.
And both kidneys are severely damaged. And they started looking at the options, because at that time, they did not know whether it could be reversed or not, because it can be reversed in some situations. Or I could take medication, or would I need dialysis or a transplant at this point? So they ran more tests, and it came out that I needed to be immediately put on dialysis. There was no time to try to put in official or anything.
Yeah.
I had to get a CVC, which is a port in your chest. I had to get that in, and it's something that can be used for dialysis same day as being put in. So they put it in, and then the next day I got dialysis.
What was that process like? I mean, I understand you were waiting to get a kidney transplant, but I mean, you had to make time for classes and dialysis. How did that work?
Oh, that was a doozy. I did something called peritoneum dialysis. Peritoneum dialysis is when they insert a catheter into your abdomen area, but it's inside of your peritoneum, but it comes out of your abdomen. And there's a solution that you put in. It sits for 4 hours, and you can take it out. That's a way to do it manually. If you want to do it through the machine, you just hook up at night for 9 hours straight. You wake up the next morning, unhook, and you go on about your day. Because I was in school and I can't oversleep for class and things like that, I had to do it manually. So
Wow.
a lot of the times I would like just park under the shade of a tree in my car and, fill my catheter and like go on about my school day, which was roughly about 4 hours. And then, go back out to my car, drain, and then like head home and then, repeat the process because this process has to be done 4 times a day.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
yes, I was basically doing dialysis on campus, but then I was told by my doctor that was dangerous. And so I had to make a choice between school and my health. And of course, I chose my health. So I had to put off school for a while.
And you got a call, I imagine, one time and said, "Hey, we've got a donor." What was that like?
Oh, that was exciting. By that time I had waited 5 years. 5 years on the transplant list. I got a call from my coordinator at Herman Memorial downtown, and she called me. She always calls me on my personal cell phone, like with lab results, and she'll call me like maybe an hour or two afterwards, and so it'll be like in like the early mornings or about noon. But it was midnight on the dot when she called me. So I knew before answering the phone I had got a kidney because she never calls me this late. And I answered the phone and she's like, "Guess what?" And I said, "You got a kidney," before she said it. And she's like, "Yes, I have a kidney." And I said, "Okay, so what are my steps?" And she told me, "Go through the emergency room, tell them you're there for a transplant, and they'll get you set up." So that's what I did. It took me 30 minutes to get there.
How long was the surgery and what was the recovery like?
The surgery, I wouldn't be able to tell you how long it was. I was out of there. I was knocked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
but
they didn't have any complications or anything while they were doing
no,
it.
no complications. Everything went smoothly. I was put on. I got there at 12:30, and I got the transplant. I want to say they had me like wheeling off and under medication by 6 a.m. And yeah, I went through that. I slept that whole day. I was like after the surgery, I was sleeping. I woke up like the like next morning afterwards. So the next day, because
Right.
the medication they gave me was so strong. But I woke up. I had a type of it's like a little box, and it was like connected to me. And that was to collect urine because when they do the transplant, the first thing like if it's a good kidney and it's viable and it's working, like urine comes out. So that's what that was for. And I had to, as far as recovery, that stayed in me like for like I want to say maybe 3 days. And because of the surgery, there was like blood with like urine. And so
Mm-hmm.
what they were trying to do was wait for it to get clear or wait for it to like not show up in the samples. That took about 3 days. So basically I was told that I recovered very fast, very quickly. My body, rest of my body was healthy.
Right.
I healed very quickly.
How are things now? I mean, are you able to do everything you were able to do before all this happened, or do you do more now? Do you have more energy? How are things now for you?
Well, before I got diagnosed, I was like jogging, exercising. I was a full-time teacher and a student. And then I spent the year before I got transplant, like the 4th year of waiting, I got MRSA. And the year before that, I had peritonitis. So I did have a few other ailments along the way.
Right.
And the year before I got my transplant, I actually stopped walking. I could not walk. I was in a wheelchair. So yeah, so I ended up getting my strength back right before transplant. And so I was able to slowly start walking with the help of physical therapy and things like that. And so I was in physical therapy at the time when I got the call for transplant. So I was already on my way to getting better. And then I got the transplant and I had started back driving as well because I couldn't drive because I couldn't walk. I was too weak. I was very underweight. I think I had got down to 83 pounds in the hospital before the transplant. And once I got the transplant and started getting healthy and started eating more, and And like now I'm like at a constant 110, 115, like around that area. So I'm back, I'm healthy, I'm walking again, not as good as I was before I got diagnosed, because I was 23 and I was moving about. I was very active then, but
Yeah.
I am better than what I was, I want to say, about 2 years ago, because I was not walking then.
You're back at HCC now, and what are you doing, and what are you studying, and when you're planning to graduate?
I plan on graduating hopefully in I want to say May of 2024. So
Okay.
after spring semester is over with.
And what are you studying, and what's your future plans for employment?
I am a theater major with teacher certification. So I mean, honestly, my dream is to be a voice actor. I've been told that's something I'd be good at, and I actually love acting. I love the stage. I love theater. And also I love children. Like I said, I was a teacher for a very long time. That was my last job. And if I could combine the two, that would be perfect.
We wanted to ask about your family through all of this, how they supported you throughout this whole process, this journey.
Oh, I've had constant support, family and friends. I think my mom was a little bit more devastated with the diagnosis than I was, because I knew a little bit. I didn't know as much as I know now, nowhere near as much as I know now. But I did know a little bit about kidney failure. So the day that I got diagnosed, I was like, you know what? I can live with this. And I was calm and I was content. I'm like, I'm going to be okay. My mom did not take it like that, because I'm the oldest of 4 children. I am the baby. I'm her baby. And so she's like, no,
Sure.
I'm not having it. So she was like, I cannot do this. So she's been a really constant supporter. My father also, he supports me as well in everything. He's constantly been there. He's the one I have a genetic gene that's what caused my kidney failure. He also has it, and he got it from his father. So I'm not sure how far back it goes, but as far as we do know, my grandfather had this.
Wow.
And my grandfather had kidney disease, but he never got to do dialysis. He passed before his kidneys got bad, because he died from a heart attack. My father has kidney disease, but not kidney failure, and he's on medication. He does not need dialysis because he was diagnosed with it prior to it, becoming bad.
Yeah.
In my case, I wasn't as lucky. We didn't know about the gene, and we did not know that my grandfather had this disease, and we didn't know it was a family thing, and we thought my dad just had kidney disease. And so I was not diagnosed, but I was told by the doctors they can tell sort of a timeline of how long you had kidney disease by looking at the size of your kidneys, because they shrink.
Yeah.
Kidney failure. And mine were small, and they were estimated that maybe around 12, 13. So I had
So you'd had it all these years. Ebony, this is
undiagnosed.
It is just an incredible story, very inspirational. And we applaud you with moving forward with life and back in school. Best of luck with your future plans.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ebony. Ebony Martin, HCC student and kidney transplant recipient. I'm telling you, Randy, very inspirational, isn't it?
Absolutely. It makes me feel bad that I was upset about a soda can exploding on me this morning. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, in the scheme of things.
In the scheme of things.
Got a few announcements before we wrap up. Of course, we do have a 3-day weekend. We'll talk more about that in a second. I want to skip down to Donuts with the Dean. That's an interesting.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, Northline campus. Now that classes have begun, the Office of Student Life at Northline is hosting Donuts with the Dean.
11 a.m. Tuesday, September 12th.
That's right.
Go get some donuts and meet your dean. How fun is that?
Also, Coleman College, very important subject, Suicide Awareness Month. September is Suicide Awareness Month. So Student Life and HCC Counseling are offering advice and ways to help prevent suicide. 9 to 10 a.m. Tuesday, September 12th at the Coleman Tower Atrium. Check that out as well. And then Monday, we already talked about this, we're off.
You're off. No up to the minute, no school, no nobody. Don't show up. Ain't nobody going to be there.
Yeah, but we'll be here on Tuesday, September 5th.
Absolutely.
In fact, I'll be live here. And second semester starts on September 18th. Classes have begun, but you can still sign up before then. Online anytime, online in a schedule, hybrid, in-person, hybrid lab, all that and more is available. hccs.edu/apply. Let's see. We got some Tasty Tuesday stuff coming up next week.
I hear that you have a cucaracha Mexico City cuisine coming again.
Cuchara, yeah.
Cuchara.
Yeah,
Did I say
yeah.
cucaracha? Oh my gosh. I'm like a brain dead human. Cuchara. Sorry. Anyway,
we'll also,
I'm brain dead, but the food's good.
They are. We'll also talk to Dell Technologies about a partnership with HCC. Hey, Randy, have a good weekend. Head out to the beach.
Obviously,
Enjoy.
much needed because I'm like can't even talk anymore. You have fun. Are you doing something fun?
I don't know. Just relax, more or less.
Good.
You know how that goes. Yeah.
Obviously, I'll take a nap. I may go
to the pool. I'll probably do a little running, ride my bike, those type of things. You know. So yeah, it'll be a good weekend. Take care, folks. Enjoy the weekend. Try not to get too hot. It's supposed to be the hottest day on record in Houston Sunday, 110. So prepare for that. We'll have a great Labor Day weekend. We'll be back on Monday, 10 a.m. live for Up to the Minute.